has a lot more conductivity than in this direction. The heat, is not distributed this way at all. And the gradient also, temperature gradient, versus a given direction is also shown how it goes, so that the heat moves here at 800 watts per meter Kelvin metric compared to if it were copper, any material at all. And what we would also do is that we plate the fiber or clad, put a clad to the fiber, which is we would put, that's the fiber, and this could be a 10 micron fiber, as an example, and we put the clad around it, and that could be any metal even if required to put the clad, and we have tried copper as a clad. And now the temperature gradient goes this way because the conductivity is very high here, and then it moves this way. This is in a perpendicular direction compared to that direction, just to see the difference there. So we can have heat going one way and then go that way, depending on what it is. And the plated fibers, are put together depending on how you want to put it. And when you put them together, and the effect that you get, is different if you have multiple of them put together in a different way. So I'm just giving you a different way to put them together, the carbon fibers. And this is already known to all your physicists and chemists about the covalent band because of the heat conduction and so on and so forth. So I'm not going to go into that at all, but just for us to remind ourselves that's the principle on which our fibers work. And the way we could do is that the carbon fiber, in addition to the carbon fiber, we can add nanotubes into it or nanostructures into it. There are different kinds of structures that you can make and embed that. So the overall conductivity even goes higher than typical 800 watts per meter Kelvin or even above, depending how you make the carbon fiber. At what temperature you take it and cool it back. The crystallization is very important. So you can add nanofibers to it, nanomaterials to it, nanostructures to it. There are variety of nanostructures. There are diamondoids and there are nanodendrites and so on. So depending on what you need, you can embed them as well. And now I'm trying to give a full process of how this can be done, similar to what it's already done in terms of carbon fiber. Okay, this is nothing new except that the carbon fiber is a big carbon fiber where you can embed additional higher thermal conductivity nanostructures of whatever kind you want. And in the manufacturing considerations, it's very, very important for us to keep that the fillers like the carbon nanotubes or other nanomaterials that we could use. And it's also important to co-locate, that we've been hearing from other experts and say you need to be as close to the making the fiber and then making the composites and this designer composites and then whatever material that you want to make out of it, like a heat sink or any heat spreader, heat dissipation, thermal management material. And it's also important that you save a lot in terms of shipping and things like that. That's nothing new, but the idea is to be closer to that. In terms of market, I want to make sure that I'm going to go to market later, but I'm going to give you the fundamentals. solar, when you use concentrated photovoltaic and even otherwise, the heat dissipated is quite a lot. Let me give you an example. If you have a regular crystalline silicon photovoltaic material, if it is 15 or 18% efficiency, then the remaining of the 100% is dissipated into heat. Now you have a heat management issue. And if you go up to 40 or 43 with 3 junctions, then you have less heat, but people do concentration of sun. So there is if you want 1 megawatt of solar farm, I'm not talking roof yet, it's a bigger thing, you need about 5 acres. So you need a lot of carbon fiber. There's a lot of demand. Just to give you an idea that the market, that's why I was talking to you about how much it is required in terms of the thermal interface material you can do, or heat spreading material you can do a variety of things. That's why I mentioned thermal interface material 1 and 2. One is inside the package, outside the package. Even when making the solar cells, you weave them together as a solar panel and to go into a frame, you can make sure that heat is dissipated properly. It's very important to worry about the heat in electronics. I'll give you another important point. Every 10 degrees increase in heat, temperature in electronics, any electronics, the failure rate doubles. You are familiar with the Tesla and so on, failure rates and so on, it doubles. So if any electronic product works at 30 degrees centigrade, let's take an example, but if it were working at 40 degrees, the failure rate will have doubled. Every 10 degrees it doubles. Doubling failure rate is a big issue. And it's big loss, so it is meaningful to cool. And now that we are able to cool back, even with 2,000 concentrations, people wouldn't even comprehend that you could do it. So there is a lot of advantage in life that you can have in terms of cost and advantage, the return on investment, also advantages are here. I'm just giving 2 major examples only here, but you would need going forward with mobile phones. Mobile phones have more power than ever before on a 6 months basis, 1 year basis. And heat dissipation is becoming a very big problem. Another market, electric auto. And for the batteries, there's what's called separator, battery separator. That separator should have 2 important qualities. One, to be able to dissipate the heat. It generates a lot of heat again. You dissipate the heat, and then it should not shrink. It should stay put. So those 2 qualities we can, depending on what we want, we can do carbon composites for depending on the size that we need. And that's a big market again in electric auto when it's happening already, more and more would be happening. Or without this, it wouldn't happen. And you look at the other way. So I'm just giving major bunch of this, and in terms of actual co-located ones that I already mentioned, I don't want to repeat some of that. And the continuous process is important. And multi-stage plating, would be required, depending on how you do. And then fiber weaving, spinning, and all of that, that the industry is very familiar there. And markets, I just already gave, example of heat sink here. And you can use it in heat pipes also. Electronics uses a lot of heat pipes. Automotive also uses heat pipes. You use it there. Different kinds of heat spreaders, stiffeners, different package materials, PC board laminates. Even the PC board laminate when it's used, you can dissipate the heat much better for larger products. Because what happens is when you use fan, the heat now goes from one place to another. So you need to be able to dissipate that away from the okay. My point is to say that there's a big list of one that you need thermal interface material you already sent back. Solar PV, I already gave you a hint of what is there. Single cell PV also needs cooling and thermal management. And wind, other green energy, there also there's a lot of heat generated at the rotor. You need to be able to cool. And again, this is in large volume. That's what is important to know. And I mentioned when Dr. Carson was talking that there's more aluminum used in heat sink industry than the airplane industry. A lot of people don't know because of so much of computing, so much of electronics, everywhere is there. It totally used this time. And transportation industry, that Carson covered a lot. I don't want to repeat too much of that. You get the idea of, and also in military, there's a lot of heat being generated in desert applications and so on, electronics, so that's where you need, and airspace and all that, and he covered very well. And automotive applications, I give you a hint, it covers quite a lot of that. Mining and oil industry, again, a lot of heat is being generated where you can use it. And so the summary is that depending on what we need, we can have different kinds of fibers used with other clad material and spun and then woven together in the designer way, not just put something in a bulk way. And because the products are small, then you can sell it at a higher price per weight, per area, per amount of the supply chain material that is used. So there's a big margin, big profit, big demand. I think I covered it, and we don't want to use the old technology anymore. Designer is green, and then designer is versatile, as we already saw. Designer is the only way in 2004. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Have any questions?
I didn't explain it so very well that no one is asking questions.
What is the reason why their studies have been focused only on pitch-based? Is there any specific reason why the study has been focused only on pitch-based?
Pitch-based in the sense, fan-based fiber is for structural applications. You are the expert, you already know. Pitch-based fiber made for thermal conductivity, not the regular pitch-based only, is the one which gives higher thermal conductivity compared to copper, and it's in a given direction. And you can go up to, just in the carbon fiber, not using any nano embedded at all, just in the carbon fiber up to 1,500. Available in the market without any telling them do it this way, do it that way. Now we do all of this, your conductivity will be much, much higher.
But is the mesophase pitch which is used for making conventional carbon fibers like Mitsubishi is doing, is the same mesophase pitch used for this
It is
application?
used, except that it is taken to higher temperature, as Mitsubishi says, and then brought down, so it's, the crystallization happens, better, and so the conductivity becomes higher. So make sure that conductivity is higher when you buy it, or use it as specified. Yeah.
Yes.
Steve Pickard from University of Nottingham. You